I should have made one of those nobody can depict me rules. They always make me fat. Tell me about it. I've been a blonde white dude for like 2,000 years. Election of the Member of Parliament for the Who Gives a Shit constituency. Indicate your choice with a cross in the box by their name, or stick with the pre-marked default. You know better than we, Liberal Undemocratic Party. I'll decide what you want, not you. Thank you very much. Keith, Carbon Neutral Green Party. Ban the whale, save the cars. That's your lot. We aren't a real political party, obviously. Sir Royston Borders Protectorate Brexit Party. Just leave. How hard is it? Jeremy Corbyn, Communist, Labour affiliate. For Di Abbott in the Home Office, IRA-friendly politics and some unfounded, off-the-cuff policies. We Jimmy Cranky, Scottish Nazi Party. F the English, F the English, F the English, F the English, F the English. His Highness Boris and his Johnson Conservative. Vote for me, look at the alternatives, right? Clive, Close Borders UKIP. For border control based on a B&Q pink paint colour test card. None of the above. Just sod off the lot of you. The state of politicians in this country makes me want to move to Russia or Venezuela. Prove all things. Hold fast that which is good. My generation will start a revolution. Your generation can't even do a full working week. Decide whether you're boy, girl or alien. Eat meat without crying. Wake up. Sometimes a picture says 1,000 words. So Corbyn's wife is a banker who runs a coffee plantation in Mexico. For every £10 they take, they pay their Mexican workers 93p. Coffee plantation master for every £10 earned. You see, these lot are all related. You trace their family trees back and they are all related. That's why nothing ever changes, because they're all working for their agenda and not ours. Interesting FOI here. You asked, can you confirm that the National Insurance Fund is presently in surplus and by how much? Can you also please confirm how much has been paid from the fund into the National Insurance Investment Fund in the last 10 years? The National Insurance Fund, NIF, account presents the receipts, payments and balance of the NIF at the end of each financial year. This information for 2017-18 and previous years is published by HMR Revenue and Customs and is available online at that link. The latest NIF accounts show that the balance of the NIF increased by 2.286.469.000 in 2017-18. It's that big a number I can't even say it. In addition to the previous balance, this resulted in a closing balance of 24,221,220,000. Yeah, I think it's an even bigger figure than that, to be honest with you. Which was paid into the NIF investment account and in practice used to reduce the national debt. If you have any queries, letters, please contact. So they've got this mega amount of money and they're still thieving off us left, right and centre. And don't forget, that's our money. TPG says community health fears stopped its 5G rollout in Australia as experts blame disinformation campaigns on social media. TPG Chief Operating Executive Craig Levy has told the federal court that the telco pulled its plans to roll out 5G in network in Australia due to community fears regarding health impact on the technology. Those fears have spiked despite bodies such as the World Health Organization stating there should be no risk to public health. In fact, 5G radiation should actually be safer than previous networks. You bullshitting lying bastard. According to research by Cornell University. And they've got no agenda, have they? Despite the science, however, a small segment of the community appears concerned over the technology, as the number of social media groups spreading disinformation grow, galvanising opposition to the network. Yeah, the only disinformation is you lot. Australia has an unfortunate and checkered history of politics scuppering its national technological infrastructure. The National Board Network, NBN, has kneecapped by a change of federal government and policy and has been a veritable train wreck ever since. In 2018, fears of Chinese espionage dashed Hawaii's bid to help roll out the 5G network here. Now TPG is having to explain why it scrapped its own 5G aspirations, and it appears its hand was forced, at least in part, by fears from the community about health impacts of the technology. If people have concerns about the impact of on their health, they are not just looking at our model in a positive manner, Chief Operating Executive Craig Levy told this federal court on Tuesday, as reported by Sydney Morning Herald. TPG is in court fighting its blocked attempt by the ACCC to merge with Vodafone, and inadvertently the case rests on whether or not TPG would build the important infrastructure without a merger going forward. Okay. The telco has flatly claimed it wouldn't, so far citing a lack of commercial viability and now community opposition. Shame, eh? Chase Bank cancels all credit card debt for Canadian customers. Clients over the moon as US lender moves as it withdraws from market. Chase Bank is forgiving all outstanding debt owned by customers on its 2 Canadian credit cards as it exits the country's market. Customers using the Amazon.ca Rewards Visa and the Marriott Rewards Premier Visa were pleasantly surprised to find the balance of their credit card had been wiped clean. The US-based bank, part of the firm JP Morgan Chase & Co., announced in March 2018 that it was closing its 2 Visa cards and leaving the Canadian credit card market after 13 years. It confirmed on Thursday that it was forgiving all outstanding debt owed by customers of its 2 Canadian credit cards. This is an absolute piss take. Harvey Weinstein settles with alleged victims and he doesn't have to pay a penny. And look at him pretending to be ill now with this walking frame. Absolute made up bullshit, you lying little git. Just like the MPs in this country, when they get caught out suddenly go ill. Well, it's the same technique by all of the crooked, evil, satanic bastards. Harvey Weinstein has reached a tentative settlement with many of his alleged sexual misconduct victims, and he won't have to pay a dime, according to a report. Under the agreement, the insurance companies representing Weinstein's bankrupt film studio would foot the $25 million bill for payments to women who have accused the disgraced movie mogul of rape and sexual misconduct, according to the New York Times. The deal also does not require Weinstein to admit any wrongdoing. More than 30 actresses and former Weinstein employees have sued for the former movie mogul. They would share in the payouts under the agreement that would also settle some of the legal costs for Weinstein and his brother Robert. Part of the money would be set aside for future claims, the report said. The agreement did not please all of Weinstein's accusers. We reject the notion that this was the best settlement that could have been achieved on behalf of the victims, said Douglas Wigdor, who represents at least 2 of Weinstein's alleged victims. It is shameful that $12 million of the settlement is going to the lawyers for the directors who we alleged enable Weinstein, and it is even more outrageous that the proposed settlement will seek to bind non-participating members by providing a release to the insurance companies of the directors of the Weinstein Company itself, Whitger said. You got the money, you can get away with anything, including rape, as you've just seen. Brexit will not get done by 2021, EU chief negotiator admits in leaked recording that blows hole in Boris Johnson's promise. Brexit trade negotiator cannot be finished in time to frame claim by Boris Johnson, the EU's chief negotiator, has privately admitted. Blowing a hole in the Prime Minister's big election promise to get Brexit done, in a leaked recording obtained by The Independent, Michael Barnier tells a private meeting that the UK's 11th-month timetable to wrap up trade talks by 2021 is unrealistic and suggests negotiations will drag on until long after the end of the next year. I told you we're not leaving. With regards to this agreement, we will not get everything done in 11 months. We will do all we can. We won't do it all, Mr Barnier can be heard telling a group of senior MEPs at a closed meeting in the EU capital this week. It's all fixed. It's all a dictatorship. You heard it there from the horse's mouth. The recording sparked consternation from Mr Johnson's critics back in the UK, with the Prime Minister accused of lying to voters. An MP lying to the voters? Well, that's not surprising because they all do it. About Brexit and playing the British public for fools. Well, that's just happens every time as well anyway. Mr Barnier, who was recently appointed to lead the next round of Brexit talks for the EU side, told the meeting it is unrealistic that a global negotiation can be done in 11 months, so we can't do it all. We will do all we can to get what I call the vital minimum to establish a relationship with the UK, if that is the time scale. How about we repeal the 1972 Act and we're out. Repeal all these Lisbon Treaty bullshits and we're out. And we give them the finger and tell them to go do one. This, as I've said all along, they will just keep kicking the can down the road because there's never been any intention of us ever being allowed to leave the European dictatorship. DWP slashes amputees benefits after assessor claims missing foot has healed. Yeah, that you did hear that correct. Apparently his missing foot has grown back. An amputee's benefits were cut after an assessor claimed wound on his non-existent foot had completely healed. Despite the evident error in the Department of Work and Pensions report, Tommy Weir's £749 a month payments were immediately stopped last month. Tommy, 56, is just one of thousands of people unjustly targeted by draconian cuts, which have continued unabated even after a supposed end to 8 years of Tory austerity policies in 2018. And you'll notice that word draconian, because we are run by the Dracos, the reptilians. The Queen is a Draco. Johnson is related to the Queen. All the presidents are related to the Queen, although the specific rules from all over the European Union. They're all in it together. I'm not suicidal. Prince Andrew accuser warns evil people are trying to silence her. Vivian Jaff, who has accused Prince Andrew of rape, warned that her life might be in danger and begged others to continue to plead her case if she dies. I am making it publicly known that in no way, shape or form am I suicidal. I have made this known to my therapist and GP. If something happens to me, in the sake of my family, do not let this go away and help me to protect them. Too many evil people want to see me quieted. Jiff tweeted Tuesday night. Her tweet came in response to some claiming the FBI would try to kill Ghislaine Maxwell. Well, there'll be something coming. I've got something coming on her a little bit later. Well, we may have. University dumps professor who revealed polar bears actually thriving. 21st of October this year. So the global warming bullshit is being seen out again. But they still continue to push the global warming, climate change bullshit agenda. The Canadian zoologist who led the way in debunking the claim that climate change is endangering polar bears says the University of Victoria bowed to outside pressure and fired him. Susan Crockford, an assistant professor at the University of Victoria in Canada for 15 years, said her renewal application was rejected without explanation in May. Despite her high profile as a speaker and author due to her polar bear research and expertise in mammal bone identification, the Washington Times reports. Her research showed polar bear population are stable and even thriving, contrary to the claims of climate activists that their numbers are plummeting due to shrinking Arctic sea ice. Crockford, who earned a PhD in biology and anthropology in 2004, described her expulsion as an academic hanging without a trial, conducted behind closed doors. In a post on her popular polar bear science blog on Wednesday, she wrote, "When push came to shove, UVic threw me under the bus rather than stand up for my academic freedom." On Monday, she noted on her blog that she was in London preparing for lecture on her 2019 book, The Polar Bear Catastrophe That Never Happened. Climate change. Utter lies. The Times. And now we get to it. The election poll points to Johnson landslide. This has been absolutely 100% fixed, fiddled. This never happened, and I'll tell you why. Because anyone with any eyes to see can see the 10 years under these evil, satanic, related to the Queen bastards has been utter horror and terror and murder. No one in the right mind would vote for more of their own murder and assassination by these terrorists. Tories set for biggest win since Thatcher in 87. Worst result for Labour Party in more than 80 years. I'm telling you, it has been fixed. Expert analysis of the Prime Minister's in tray. Slogans and lies, puddles and pies. And the reason I'm saying it's been fixed, I've read many blogs where many are saying they've went to have a vote, and these usually youngish, probably going to vote Labour maybe, and they were turned away. These polls have been fiddled. This vote has been absolutely, categorically fixed. The scum. Crushing win for Bojo, majority of 86 seats. The dog's bollocks. Yeah, because they're taking us for a female. Genitals. The Guardian. Exit poll predicts huge majority for Johnson. This is all the propaganda. They've got to put it out now to try and make out that it wasn't a fixed election. Shock early forecast predicts Tories on course to take 368 seats. Corbyn likely to face pressure to quit in wake of crushing defeat. Britain braves the weather and goes to polls. Lying bastards. It was job done, but for Johnson, John Grace, page 6. The election winner must show some humility. That's never going to happen because they're reptilians. Aye. Johnson unleashed. Oh dear. Exit poll predicts resounding win for the Conservatives. Johnson forecast to have Tory majority of 86. Brexit in 49 days after Midlands and North tier of delay. Labour shocked by devastating forecast which would make 2019 the party's worst performance since 1935. Battle for future of the UK and SNP clean up in Scotland. Labour must accept its fate, sheer power to govern again. Corbyn team brace for inquest. 10 ideas to clean up British politics. Why I spoil my ballot. This election's biggest lies. Yeah, that it was a fair and just election. It was fiddled and fixed all the way. Waste of paper. Softies are killing the darts. Roll up. Clown Prince. Boris can keep his red nose and so can Diane. Lottie, my life's been ruined by apprentice. An utter waste of shitty paper, that. Daily fail. Tories head for 86 majority in exit poll sensation. I'm telling you, this has been absolutely fixed. Rejoice, Boris set for thumping win. Oh dear. Mirror. Johnson heading for huge majority as exit poll predicts the worst Labour result since 1935. This has all been planned, and this is pushing the lie so that you don't question it. Nightmare before Christmas. Yeah, we're about to get a nightmare, all right, under this evil satanic bastard. Metro. Landslide for Boris. Exit poll biggest Tory win since '87 for Labour as Labour collapses. This was fixed. Telling you this was fixed, and we're going to in over the next few days we'll hear about the results being fudged and vote this way going the other way and all that sort of thing. I guarantee it's coming. Express. Victory for Boris and for Brexit. You just heard we aren't leaving even in the next 11 months, never mind the next few days. Anything but independent. Johnson set for largest Tory majority since Thatcher. This is brainwashing now. Propaganda they're doing on you in here. Exit poll predicts Conservatives make huge gains. Corbyn faces dropping below 200 Labour MPs. Financial Times. Exit poll points to vindication for Johnson with huge Tory majority. Lagarde follows Draghi ECB policy led by but against signed signals cautions optimism. And finally, so who won the election? The Rothschilds. What a synonym means to me. A word you use when you can't spell the word you first thought of. What does a clock do when it is still hungry? It goes back 4 seconds.